Good afternoon, one and all. Technology does not drive change, it enables change. To quote Kingsley Glass, distinguished guests, speakers, heads of various departments, faculty, and students, I welcome you all to the valedictory function of International Conference 2022 on Business Renaissance, the Era of Digital Cure, organized by the PG and Research Department of Commerce, Ethiraj College for Women, in association with the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I now call upon Ms. Jessica and Ms. Jayashree to render the invocation.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிறமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடன திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனகே உன் சீரிலமை திறம்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you, Jessica and Jayashree. I request Ms. Kavita Manikandan, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce Self-Supporting, to deliver the welcome address.
An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Quoting Benjamin Franklin. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to one and all present here for the valedictory session of the two-day international conference. The Department of Commerce has organized this two-day international conference on the theme Business Renaissance, the Era of Digital Cure, in association with the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The impact of digital technologies is prevalent in every spectrum of life, and consequently, the current era is termed as the digital age. Digital transformation, being the need of the hour, focuses on the critical aspects of building a digital-ready business. Understanding and leveraging the drivers of transformation would help the organizations navigate through the digital disruption. Thereby, this conference theme on business renaissance is a breakthrough using technology, heralding a new era of cure, cost, and choices. Today, we have with us a person of such stature, CATN Manoharan, former chairman of Canara Bank and Padma Shri awardee, as the chief guest for the valedictory session of this two-day international conference. CATN Manoharan was born in a freedom fighters family with agriculture as the occupation. He is a chartered accountant of 38 years of standing. He is a law graduate. He has authored books for professionals and students on taxation. He was the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India during the year 2006-2007. CATN Manoharan was part of the government-nominated board for revival of Satyam Computer Services Limited from January 2009 to July 2012. He served as chairman of the Committee on Accounting Standards and Taxation of Confederation of Indian Industry during 2009-2011. He has addressed training programs at Nagpur Academy on Direct Taxes, RBI Staff College, and for IT/AT members at the Judicial Academy, and also addressed renowned institutions including reputed foreign universities such as Chicago University in USA, Warwick University in UK, and Southern Queensland University in Australia. He served as the chairman of Canara Bank for 5 years up to August 2020 and as the administrator of Lakshmi Vilas Bank during November 2020 till its merger with DBS Bank. CA Manoharan is currently a member of the RBI Standing External Advisory Committee for evaluating applications for universal banks and small finance banks. He is on the board of Mahindra & Mahindra, Tech Mahindra, and IDBI Bank. CA Manoran is a recipient of several awards, including the CNN IBN Indian of the Year 2009 award from the Honorable Prime Minister of India in December 2009. CA Manoran was conferred the Civilian Honor Padma Shri Award by the President of India on 7th April 2010. I, on behalf of the Department of Commerce, deem it an honor to welcome you, sir. Pleasant welcome to our Vice Principal, Self-Supporting, Dr. T. Usha Priya. I cordially welcome Ms. Saraswati K., Secretary General, the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for her gracious presence. A happy welcome to all the heads, faculties, and students of other departments and city colleges. Also, I welcome the enthusiastic audience present for the session today. Once again, welcome all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the words of welcome. I call upon Ms. Bhuvaneshwari J., 2nd MCom, Department of Commerce aided, to present the Rapporteur's report.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. As we draw the curtains on the proceedings of two-day international conference, Business Renaissance, the Era of Digital Cure, organized by the PG and Research Department of Commerce in association with the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I present to you the Rapporteur's report. The international conference was inaugurated by Dr. Ethiraj Mittal, IAS, Principal Secretary to the Government of Tamil Nadu. Dr. Ethiraj shared his thoughts on the theme and emphasized developing digital infrastructure. He enlightened the audience on the SMART working of the government on various platforms. He highlighted some of the initiatives of the government, one of which was the starting of an incubator and accelerator at Anna University, which is a platform for students to experiment their ideas. He also urged the students to improve their information technology skills, thereby removing the information gap, which will eventually solve many problems. The first session, titled Redefining the Leadership, the Impact of Digital Transformation, was chaired by Dr. Xia Xian Xu, Principal Lecturer, Texide University, International Business School, United Kingdom. She gave deep insights into how leadership evolved during the emerging digital transformation and redefined leadership amidst the pandemic. She shared a personal experience of leading through the pandemic. She also mentioned that compassion, emotional intelligence, resilience, and good communication skills are some of the qualities that a future leader should possess. Session 2 of the conference, titled 5 Gs of Entrepreneurship, was presided by Professor Sridhar Narayanan, the founder of GAME, Grand Alliance for Management Excellence, and also the Secretary of NHRD Chennai chapter. The speaker highlighted the 5 Gs of entrepreneurship, namely GATE, Gotch, Guide, Goal, and Greatness. He inspired the students with the stories of successful entrepreneurs and also with his journey of becoming an entrepreneur. Session 3 comprised of panel discussion and virtual paper presentation. The panel discussion, titled Success Stories of Entrepreneurs, was moderated by Protractor Tarun Murugesh, Director, Lotus Entertainment and House of Kolam Weddings. The first speaker was Ms. Kanmani Saranga, founder, The Picture Photography and Videography, Singapore. She gave insights on how to diversify one's career and briefed the students on how to build confidence in all the interviews and reminisced about their college days at Ethiraj College. The second speaker was Mr. Sundar Rajan, MD of Maven Apps. He highlighted the importance of being motivated and the key skills required for a successful entrepreneur. The third speaker was Mr. Balamurugan, co-founder of Geek Private Limited. He shared his experience and journey as an entrepreneur and enlightened the students on the basic skills and competencies one should possess to be successful. The session was concluded by the moderator with an extensive brainstorming session on the life skills required for entrepreneurs. The paper presentation session witnessed 23 presenters from various colleges. The research papers received were scrutinized by a panel of 3 members: Dr. Geeta Shankar, Associate Professor, former Vice Principal and Head Department of Commerce, Ethiraj College for Women, Dr. P. Murugan, Assistant Professor and Head, Government Arts and Science College, Chennai, and Dr. T. Sudha, Assistant Professor, Agarchan Manmu Jain College, Chennai, who also chaired the session. The papers presented covered a wide range of topics relevant to the theme of the international conference, and areas such as finance, marketing, human resource management, organizational behavior, innovation, and entrepreneurship. It was an excellent platform for research scholars, academicians, and industrialists to enhance their knowledge on research. The first session of Day 2, titled Traversal Through the FinTech World, was presided by Ms. Alicia R. Damley, CFA, CPA, CA, MBA, Board Member, Investment, Finance, and Audit Professional, Canada. The speaker highlighted the uses of FinTech and how it plays a crucial role in various sectors. She gave insights on the development of digital transactions and gave a systematic approach to build FinTech. She also briefed about cryptocurrencies and blockchains and how it helps to expand the payment systems across the world. The esteemed resource person for session 5, Dr. C.S. Sharma, Professor, Sriram College of Commerce, New Delhi, spoke on the topic organizational behavior, the key enabler of digital transformation in organizations. Dr. C.S. Sharma expounded on the upswing of a new society, only divided on the basis of access to superior technology. Digitization and digitalization have already taken the baton of transformation. Using actual cases, he discussed at length how algorithms will replace organizational programs and how boundaryless organizations will take over the world. He also gave us insights on the importance of having a growth mindset and adaptability to digital transformation in organizations. Session 6 was graced by Dr. Stephen Arrow Gordon, PhD, Assistant Professor, Department of Business and Accounting, Muscat College, Sultanate of Oman. The speaker explained the various aspects of digital marketing by highlighting its importance with respect to contemporary issues at the global level. He also shared his opinion on the ways to overcome various problems in the industry. With this, the technical sessions came to an end. To conclude, I quote Stuart Brand, once a new technology rolls over you, if you're not part of the steamroller, you're part of the road. I am sure that this two-day conference was a reminder to each and every one of you to innovate and adapt to the changing times. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhuvaneshwari. I now invite our chief guest, Shri C.A.T.N. Manoharan, former chairman, Canara Bank, and recipient of the prestigious Padma Shri Award from the Government of India, to deliver the valedictory address.
Very pleasant good afternoon to everyone who are present here. It is enthusiastic, energetic faces that I am able to see in the audience. At the outset, organizing a mega conference like this, an international conference on business renaissance, the era of digital cure, is something that needs to be congratulated, commended, and complimented. So I take this opportunity to greet, even in absentia, the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Srimati Chandra Devi Thanikachalam, the principal and secretary, Dr. S. Kodai, conveners of this conference who are seated here, Dr. A.S. Saranya and Mrs. Geeta Krishnan, organizing secretaries who are present here, Dr. Veena Murali, Dr. S. Revati, Dr. S. Anita, and Mrs. Kavita Manigandan, and all the other resource persons, faculties, and the collaborating institution, which is the Madras Chamber of Commerce Commerce and Industry. And this, I'm given to understand, this conference is also sponsored by the Tamil Nadu State Council for Higher Education. So At the outset, I must congratulate all of you for organizing this wonderful program, involving not only faculties from the domestic front, but also from overseas. And that's why you had few sessions offline, online, hybrid mode also, which is becoming the order of the day post-COVID, or rather we got accustomed to it during pandemic situation. My beloved students and dedicated faculty members who are present here, the world has undergone a paradigm shift in the way in which things are happening, not only on the business front, on the commercial front, but also on the professional front and domestic front as well. Let me quote a few examples as part of my preliminary observation, then move into the subject proper. 2 decades ago, if you had asked an housewife to decide on the smallest of the matter, she would have said, I need to consult my husband. Today, every husband says the same thing. I need to consult my wife. It's a paradigm shift on the domestic front. It's a welcome shift. On the technological front, if you visualize backwards, as when we were at your age, we used to maintain something called a diary, where we used to record our daily happenings and our inner feelings, thoughts. Sometimes we used to preserve it as a confidential, secretive document. Even in our siblings, when they peep into that, we used to consider it as an offense into our privacy, inroads into our privacy. But today, all of you are recording all that on the Facebook, where everybody is able to read what you are commenting or recording. And at the end of the day, you are keen to know how many likes have come for every one of your observation. In the olden days, before education dawned on humanity, for transactions, we were using thumb impression. But once literacy improved, we started using signature. The technology came in, and because of the impersonation, forgery threats, we started using biometric. Again, thumb impression, but involving technology, and therefore it was not just a thumb impression, it was a biometric impression. Even for passport, immigration, everywhere, biometric is being used. But again, now, pandemic situation. If company employees, when they walk in, if they start using biometric in sequence, even that can lead to spread of COVID. So that has resulted in facial recognition, eyes recognition for recording the presence or attendance or entry and exit. So world is transforming. Like this, I can give any number of examples. When I left Canara Bank as chairman of the institution in August 2020, Canara Bank recorded 74% of its transactions as digital transactions. Only 26% were otherwise done, manually done. And now I am on the board of IDBI Bank. And I'm surprised to find within the last 2 years, now IDBI Bank statistics reveals 92% are digital transactions. Only 8% of the banking transactions are done otherwise than by digitalization. So this is the sweep across that is happening. Technology is making inroads into every sphere of the business, profession, service industry, and whatnot. In the olden days, we used to say, this unit is in food industry, this unit is in automobile industry, this unit is in manufacturing, this is service sector, banking, so on and so forth. Real estate company. But, namaskaram amma. I welcome Srimati Saraswati, Secretary General of Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who is driving force behind the institution. And I am given to understand both your institution and Ethiraj College yesterday executed an MOU for more collaborative activities. I wish that a great success, ma'am. Thank you. So across the spectrum of various activities, we find that technology. So earlier we used to identify each segment as belonging to some sector. Like I said, automobile or food business, restaurant or aviation, so on and so forth. But today, not today, I mean, way forward, I think you will find all companies, all businesses are technology companies, but they are into different business segments. A technology company is into the profession of legal services. Another technology company into the business of food and catering. That is how the transformation is happening. The influence of the impact of digitalization is happening. And the dream of digital India of the government of India is also to push and connect across India, even the remotest places, with Wi-Fi, network and all that. This jam trinity is the greatest advantage for India to be connected. Like, gone are the days when many people were unconnected with the banking sector. They never had a bank account. But now, Jan Dhan Yojana, there are 450 million accounts have been opened in the last 5 years. And in terms of Aadhaar connectivity, identity, 99% of the population has been issued, 1.31 billion. Mobile connectivity, 1.03 billion are mobile users, smartphone owners. So net connectivity, about 700 million are users of net connectivity. So this is how the population of India is slowly becoming techno-savvy and digitally connected, which means that the rest of the world just cannot afford to ignore India. India has to be in their roadmap, planning, budgeting, focusing, marketing, and consumer, sphere of coverage and all that. So that is the significance with which India is emerging and galloping. And all of you are at your prime age of getting qualification from this great institution and emerging out as graduates, postgraduates. And this is the time for you to get these nuances and intricacies and reorient your way and approach, the way of thinking, the strategy with which you will have to approach a concept or a topic, because that will place you, that will give you an edge over the competitive, peers in the market. So with that foresight, I think this conference will augur very well. And digital influence has been on all units of the business, be it finance or marketing or sales or procurement or HR. Every sphere of business, it has made its own evolution in terms of embracing technology. And new technologies have compelled the CEOs of all businesses, all managements, to accordingly develop and evolve with innovation and creativity, new business models and new leadership skills. So these are all the positives of this digital, evolution into the future. Now, as part of my valedictory address, I would like to touch upon only two segments, because you would have heard about the impact of digitalization on many segments. The Bhuneshwari gave a very effective report of all the sessions and what the contents of what the speakers and resource persons and panelists have conveyed. So I'm able to see they have covered a wide spectrum. But I'll highlight only on manufacturing and human resources. These two are very vital segments where technology has made a very great impact. When it comes to manufacturing, when you place an order today online and it gets delivered tomorrow, it might look like a simple process of booking an order and taking delivery. But behind this, a lot of things happen. And seamless coordination and connectivity happens. Many businesses, that is how, are able to grow global also. The distinct advantages of digitalization in manufacturing, like in any other segment, are four. The first one is the ability to scale up. Scaling up is made possible by digitalization. The second is the speed with which the transactions are executed. The processes are finished or completed. So scaling, speeding. Third one is the accuracy or the quality. So more than the manual inspection or intervention, when it is digitally regulated, the quality control, the accuracy of the parameters, compliance, everything, standard, the bar is raised. And the last and the fourth greatest advantage which business segments have experienced is the cost optimization. So you save phenomenal cost on all aspects of the business, on units of the business because of digitalization. So this is the advantage that has come to the manufacturing sector. Let me give few practical illustrations. You know, the robo is enabled by its arm to find out the defective parts through video analytics. So through video analytics, it can identify the defective parts, and then the process can start for remedial measures or replacements. And the other day I was in Dubai last week for getting that golden visa, which is for 10 years. And the reception was given by a robotic. When I walked in for the medical examination, screening, so the whole, and when you are seated in the lounge, you are taken care by the robotics, by what you want, bringing the water to you and all that. So it is there in terms of, the minutest, right from the ordinary to the extraordinary. In fact, if you visit any automobile factory, I happen to visit Mahindra factory, earlier the painting of a car used to take several days. Now it is done in a matter of few hours. It's all done significantly by robotics. So every possible function is now artificial intelligence and robotic technology, cloud, blockchain. These are all, they have come to stay. In our preliminary education, I don't know what you were taught. We were taught A is apple, B is biscuit, C is cat, so on and so forth. That's how we learned alphabets. But future, the children are going to be taught A is for artificial intelligence, B is for blockchain technology, C is for cyber security, D is data analytics, E is e-commerce. That's how it's going to be, the trend, because everything is going to revolve around technology. And when it comes to automobiles, today it is like an assembled open system on IoT, Internet of Things. If you take the latest vehicle in the market, let us say XUV 700 of Mahindra, I just asked how many chips get into this manufacturing of this vehicle. 200 chips go into the making of a car, as part of the design of the car, which perform different functions. In the olden days, from one model of a series of cars, the upgraded version, you will find a gap of 6 to 7 years, because even the mechanized designs will undergo a change. But in future, the next upgraded version of the same brand or the model will not take 6 to 7 years. It will be done in 6 months to 12 months, because what needs to be done is no change in the mechanized manufacturing, but it is only the software integration, and the futures have to be technologically improvised and upgraded. That's all. So this is how the transformation is happening. And again, when I'm talking about automobile manufacturing, now they have to take into consideration not just private owners who are going to buy your car. They have to take into mobility sharing that is happening on a larger scale now. Now sharing is very common. And therefore, presently the cars are being opened using, car doors are opened using keys, isn't it? Keys. And in future, it is going to be by mobile codes, because it is going to be sharing mobility. Each one will be given a code, digital code in his mobile or in her mobile, with which she will be able to open the car and get in, and open the car and get out when her destination comes, and the vehicle will move on with others. So these are all the happenings, just as an illustrative example on the manufacturing sector. But when it comes to human resources, all the more artificial intelligence has enabled cost optimization and has become an effective tool for hiring, onboarding, training, performance monitoring, evaluation, appraisals, and compensation. So everything is now happening through the digitalization method. And India has humongous scope in terms of human resource development and empowerment. Because all of you will agree with me that the greatest advantage India has is the demographic advantage. Unlike many other countries where the population, you can even say like this, American population is a stagnating population. European, Australian population is a declining population. Chinese, Japanese population is an aging population. It is only India's population which is a young population. And therefore, for the whole world, India is going to be the human resource hub. The below 18 years of population of India is 41%. Above 18 and below 60, almost that working class category, is 50% of the population. And above 60 is just 9% of the population. So you can see 65% of the population is below the age of 35 years. And the median age of Indian population is just 28 years. Whereas the median age of Chinese is 38.4 years. The median age of Japanese is 48.6 years. So in this context, you have immense potential, not just in India, but across the globe, because they need youth with the talent, especially with the technological skills and digitalization capabilities. And today, world doesn't need monolithic skills in a human resource. Monolithic, earlier monolithic was popular because somebody who has deep knowledge and experience in one field, a specialist, like an eye specialist, ear specialist, nose specialist, like that. But in the digitalized era, they need T skills. Instead of monolithic skills, T skills. What is T skills? T is that straight line, is the deep knowledge in a particular sphere in which you are specializing. What is the top line? The breadth of the knowledge or the spread of your knowledge with a view to collaborate with the cross-section of the industries who are connected with you. Because in a digitalized ecosystem, you cannot operate alone. You need other players to collaborate with. Then only you will be able to deliver to the expectations of the customers or consumers, and you will excel in the competitive world. So when the collaborative ecosystem is involved, you need T skills so that you should know everything about your field and something about all the collaborative fields so that you will be able to connect, collaborate very effectively. So that is what is evolving now. So each one of you should aspire to evolve as a human resource talent with T skills. And when it comes to India, India in 2010, it surpassed Canada to become the 9th largest GDP economy in terms of nominal size. And in 2015, it overtook Brazil and Italy to become the 7th largest GDP size economy. In 2018, it overtook France to become the 6th largest. But unfortunately, in 2019, we slightly slipped back and again regained the position as the 6th largest. In 2020 March, before the lockdown. January, February, we galloped and pipped UK, marginally surpassed UK to become the fifth largest GDP size nation, leaving only Germany, Japan, China, and US ahead of us. But because of the pandemic and the first wave, followed by second wave, and the turmoil that surrounded us before we could fight back, UK again overtook us. We are now sixth largest GDP size, but I'm confident there will be no fourth wave. And even if it is there, we have learned to live with the COVID or overcome the COVID by alongside performing our duties. And therefore, that is not going to be all that hurdle for us to cross. And with that, I'm confident in another 2 years, we will certainly not only overtake UK, but also overtake Germany. So by 2024, we should become the fourth largest GDP size economy. And by 2030 at least, we should be able to overtake Japan, and to become the third largest GDP size. And from 2030 onwards, we are going to compete with China and the US. And when this transformation happens, I'm sure India will be a great force to reckon with. And that is when you would have entered into your career path and contributing to the growth of the economy also in whichever way you are taking up your career evolution. But more importantly, I'm concerned not about the GDP size. I'm concerned about few other factors where India has to catch up in these next 8 years, 2022 to 2030, before we enter into the triangular contest with China and US. What we need to catch up is the per capita GDP is very, very dismal figure. In the top 10 nations, we are the lost. We are nowhere. We are just $2,110 per capita GDP, whereas US is $69,000. The lowest, among the top 10 nations, the next is, from the bottom, after 2000, we are 11,000 is China. And every other country in the top 10 is $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So we have a lot to catch up on per capita GDP improvement, which means the gap between the rich and poor should be bridged. And the financial inclusion should happen to cover the entire population. The next is our health standard of health care and access. There we are 142nd rank. And there is another index which UN measures and releases on before March 20th. What is March 20th? Anybody can say? Every year it is celebrated as World Happiness Day. Of course, it is not as popular as Valentine's Day, but March 20th, which is the World Happiness Day, UN measures countries' ranking. We are unfortunately only 136th rank. We have a long way to go. Similarly, organizational development, human resource development, again, we are 126th. So these are all need to be improved. But where we have improved, ease of doing business, we have come to 63rd rank. Innovation index, global innovation index, we are 46th rank. Competitive index, we are 43rd rank. So we have improved on certain parameters. We have a long way to go on few other parameters. But I think that Digital India will enable us to achieve and accomplish that much faster than what others are capable of doing. So with this kind of a backdrop, you must, when you come out, every one of you need not be job seekers. You should have the urge to become entrepreneurs and become job providers. You should be able to dream big, and you should be able to innovate and be creative in whatever way you can. If you are able to venture into this, certainly you will be able to carve out a bright future. In fact, the recent report of NASSCOM on the startups ecosystem, it says Next to US and China, India is the third largest ecosystem, a startup ecosystem. And there are 83 unicorns. Every startup becomes an unicorn when the valuation crosses $1 billion US. And today we have 83 unicorns in India, out of which 44 became unicorns in the last year, 2021. And now the number is predicted to increase. In 2025, in the next 3 years, it is predicted that the number of startups will more than double. It will be 36,000 startups in India, out of which at least 200 are expected to become unicorns. So with the valuation, cumulative valuation of 700 billion. So this is the prediction, and I'm sure it will translate into reality. My dear beloved students, one generation of India gave theosophy to humanity. Yet another generation built monuments. Another generation was instrumental in agricultural revolution. Subsequent generation brought about industrial revolution. The last generation was effective in bringing service sector revolution. What should be the contribution of the present generation? I would call two revolutions we should all be instrumental. One is the digital revolution, another is the moral revolution. Digital revolution, over these 2 days of conference, you would have easily understood what I'm meaning. But what is the moral revolution I'm talking about? Moral revolution is, the Western world, all the developed economies I've been mentioning, like America or Japan, the Western world, as they evolved technologically, digitally, their IQ went phenomenally high, but the EQ suffered. Emotional quotient dipped. Cultural values, tradition, everything that was a huge price they had to pay. Marriage as an institution, marriage as a sanctum, divine solemn occasion, or family as an institution, respecting source of knowledge, teachers, seniors, all that has taken a beating. The moral revolution should ensure, while we progress technologically, digitally, we should grow, preserving our rich tradition and values. And that is what I would call it as a moral revolution. We have the responsibility of digital growth, at the same time preserving values and rich tradition and culture. If we are able to do that, 19th century belonged to Europe, 20th century belonged to USA, 21st century will belong to India, and we all can make it happen. And that is the dream I am able to visualize. And I wish you all a very bright future. There are only 3 kinds of people in the world. First category, who make wonders happen. Second category, who watch wonders happen. Third category, who wonder what happened. You should belong to the first category and make wonders happen. God bless you. All the very best.
Thank you, sir, for emphasizing on the predominance and inevitability of digitalization in today's era. Thank you for giving us practical insights on the impact of digitalization on manufacturing and human resource. We would like to welcome Mrs. Saraswati, Secretary General, MCCI. The floor is open for Q&A from the audience.
Sir, what made you to choose a profession of CA during the times when it was not well known?
Good question. Actually, I'm from a village, from an agricultural family. I did not know ABCD of commerce. But after migrating to Chennai for doing graduation, I finished BCom. And those days, due to advice of well-wishers, teachers, I started reading English newspapers to improve my linguistic skills. And there you will have that classified advertisements for jobs. So there I used to find frequently CA, ICWA, and all. I used to wonder, what is this CA, what is this ICWA? But I never applied my mind. But MBA also used to be there. Suddenly I developed a fascination, I should become MBA because the name was fascinating. Master, business, administration, all were leadership. That was the enthusiasm. My father was a freedom fighter, fourth standard, educated. So he took me to his friend who is well educated in a nearby Vellore town, from Gudiyatham to Vellore. And he said, you please advise him. He is saying something, you guide him. So after listening to me, it was that gentleman who said, if you do MBA and get a job like you are dreaming, you will get a job in a company, one day you will retire. But if you do CA, you will become an independent professional. You can set up your own office. You can train people. And you decide to retire or not to retire. But till you breathe last, you can practice. That was the spark. But with that enthusiasm, when I came to Chennai, some people said, how are you going to pass CA? Because that was my capability. Visible, tangible skill set was not all that giving confidence to people who interacted with me that I am capable of passing. Actually, students, I'll now give you the crux of I've answered you already, but the message, there should be a message in my answer. With your parents, Almighty's blessings, teachers' motivation, you will be able to achieve 100% what you aim. But with the comments of your critics, adversaries, people who mock at you as you are incompetent or incapable, if you can take it positively as the source for transforming into energy, inner energy, and work to prove them wrong, you can achieve 200%. You can achieve 200%. So never succumb to criticism. In fact, I still remember that clerk in the collector's office where I went to get the adhesive stamp in the contract between me and my CA principal, where I asked to do 3-year articleship. He, finding my poor, receptiveness and conversation, shyness, while giving the form, he said, "Niyana eppadi CA pass panna pora?" I still remember. I passed CA. I did not just pass CA. I got All India rank. I did not just get All India rank. I ultimately became the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I am not saying this to boast about me. Please don't misunderstand me. You are the right audience to whom I should have no, inhibition in sharing this, because this is what can do within you if you process every humiliation, insult that comes the way. Take it as a source, convert it into a source of energy, get provoked, but don't react. Perform and prove the rest of the world is wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a question. So among the rise of this technology, Do you believe that there is scarce employment opportunities in the country?
Actually, the the kind of jobs which are prevalent today, gradually 50% of them will vanish over the next 10 years. But the technology will evolve and produce new jobs with new skill sets and new expertise. So what we should all do is, we should shred our focus on the conventional, traditional types of doing things which are going to vanish, and reorient and readapt ourselves to the new ways of doing things. So if you stay relevant, there will be no unemployability at all. Actually, there are plenty of opportunities evolving. There are plenty of youth even today, but there is a mismatch. The youth are possessing the skills which the market does not require, and there are plenty of opportunities which are awaiting them for which the youth do not seem to have the skills. That is why the skills development is given utmost importance by the government and many of the institutions, and even this conference is towards that endeavor only, to create an awareness as where you should be progressing, proceeding and orienting, redesigning and reskilling yourself, upskilling yourself. So if that is happening, there will be no dearth of opportunities.
Thank you, sir.
I think Srimad Saraswati will supplement from our perspective.
Just want to add, I cannot supplement or substitute Dr. Manoharan. See, basically the idea, as he said, of the MOU itself is like that. There is a recent book, which is the title, If Machines Do Everything, What Will Men Do? So that's the question you are asking, whether the employment opportunities will be replaced by machines. And we had a program, Man versus Machine. So as he rightly said, there is a thing called future of jobs now. So the future of jobs is changing. Maybe at a transformational stage, it is hitting the employment opportunities. And that is exactly these kind of MOUs we are attempting. As he rightly said, the other side audience may not know what is actually happening now. And I remember when we launched our skill development initiative, Mr. Ramdurai, the past chairman of the National Skill Development Corporation, he was saying, industries cannot stand away and keep complaining, we are not getting the right people. So that is where these kind of MOUs we are attempting, so that at least we can convey how things are, what technology is doing, what sort of skills industry will need, whatever type of industry. And from your side, the college can really aggregate your academic knowledge with these kind of knowledge. So ultimately, the real employability comes. That is probably the thing. Thank you.
Check. Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. My question is, as useful as technology is, sometimes it gets too overwhelming because it's very difficult, of course, to stay updated, to have to constantly stay updated with the latest technology. Of course, as youngsters, I think we learn new technology faster than older people do. But could you please tell us, sir, how can we deal with technology anxiety, which is basically, the fear or anxiety of having to deal with new technology?
Yeah, actually, this is a most relevant question in the current times and for the future as well, because the obsolescence in technology is happening faster, and the innovation and evolution is also equally bringing new emerging technologies. My suggestion is your foundation should be very strong. If your foundation is very strong, then you need not have this fear, anxiety, and all that, because this upgradation is easy process. It will be very, very easy for you to adapt to. In fact, there is a terminology which is used for describing what you are saying about anxiety. That is VUCA world, which is used in US Army training college, just to brief the soldiers on how they should be prepared for a VUCA atmosphere in the war field. What is VUCA? VUCA is volatility. It always looks volatile, like stock market, Sensex volatility, rupee valuation, dollar versus rupee volatility. The next alphabet U is uncertainty. That is also there. Like for example, COVID brought in a total uncertainty. Similarly, Russia-Ukraine war is total uncertainty. In COVID, another added pain is the Chinese policy of zero tolerance to COVID. What is zero tolerance to COVID? In a particular district of Chinese province, if there is even one case, that whole border will be closed. No entry, no exit, which means if there are 5 factories in that province, in that district, producing and supplying globally, you will not get one unit out of that district. So zero tolerance policy. So all these things are uncertainties. Then complexity. Again, it is inherent in your question. Because the new technology may have its own complexity till you decipher it and master it or comprehend it. Then the third is the ambiguity. Ambiguity is, I know this, how long it is going to exist? That ambiguity. What is going to come next? What is in store for us? Ambiguity. Actually, this VUCA world, in my view, if you have a strong foundation, these can be overcome and comprehended very easily. My VUCA world to all these bright youngsters, including you, is don't think V is volatility. Have virtues which will help you to, comprehend this volatility. And U is not for uncertainty, it is for understanding. If you have an understanding approach, nothing is difficult. And C is not complexity, it is compassion. If you have compassion, collaborative attitude, I think everything can fall in line. And it is not ambiguity in terms of last A, it is adaptability. Charles Darwin said it is not the strongest of the species that can survive, not even the most intelligent, but the one which is able to adapt to the environment. So if you have that adaptability, nothing to worry. This VUCA world will become a positive world. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for patiently answering all the questions and motivating us through your words. Yes. Is a question? So there's one last question. Sir.
Good evening, sir. And my question is, digital technology has helped the banks to cut down the cost and also poses new challenges to them. So what is your viewpoint on this, sir?
Whatever dimension that is left out in my speech, you have touched upon. Because digitization is not only bringing in many positives, there are also certain negatives. I did not have time to include it in my speech, but now that you have asked it, let me say, for example, I said the Canara Bank, 74% digital transactions, only rest are manual. IDBI Bank, 92% digital, only 8%. But that has also brought in the risk of cyber crimes. Many, attacks, cyber attacks, and many cyber frauds are happening. So we'll have to work to find the solutions, prevention, and in case, in spite of preventive measures, it occurs, then the measures to detection and the remediation. So that is one aspect, challenge, which we should be conscious about. As we are, comprehending the evolution of digitization, we should also be aware of the risks attached to it, arising out of it, and take mitigative measures. Risk management, risk mitigation, risk bearing capacity, risk appetite, these all should be mapped and connected so that you are protected. The second thing is, and I touched upon HR, human resources, other than manufacturing, isn't it? In HR, the digitization, while it can bring in cost optimization, as you said, and a lot of advantages, it misses out on the stress relief and also the interbonding and connectivity among human beings. Many companies which were well knitted across the verticals and segments, divisions, have become silos in the last 2 years because there was no interactive at all. That's why I think after 2 years, when a physical conference is held, you're all bubbling with enthusiasm and participating because you were longing for this. Because nothing like meeting, cheering, and hearing. And, if I had delivered the same talk virtually, I don't think so many questions would have come. And I would not have been enthused to share so many things, which I'm able to say it because of the emotional connect I am able to make it physically, and the response I am getting from all of you. So these are all the challenges, ma. These are all the negatives. We have to strike a balance. We should not get carried away. Like even in a domestic friend, you will notice this. And this can be the message using your question I want to give all of you. Please, you learn to use your gadgets for productive purposes. Rationalize your time for attending to your gadgets in appropriate measure during this age. In this stage of your life, gadgets can distract you and destroy your quality time, which you can otherwise invest to build a future. If you get addicted to watching, for example, a TV serial, saying I am going to give company to my mother who is watching it, mothers must watch, because that is how they can have an emotions outlet which they cannot show it on you. Because if they show it on you, you will be repulsive. But they can get solace by watching the characters in the TV serial showing emotions. But that is not meant for you. Actually, you will not miss anything by not watching TV serial because they are longer than human life. You can always catch them up after qualifying, after settling down in life. The same serial will be going. Even if the heroine dies, they'll bring a substitute and continue the shooting. And say from tomorrow, this character will be the wife of so-and-so. And you will assume and continue to watch. So therefore, you will not miss anything in this stage, be it IPL match or Pro Kabaddi League or your favorite stars movie getting released, till you achieve your goal. All these things can wait. And you can always watch it. We did not have that advantage. You have the advantage of retrieving them from YouTube any day, any time you want, and watch and cherish. In fact, I am watching. I was never a film goer. Our only distraction was going to theater and watching movies. As a student, I was binding myself. I will not skip one class and go to the theater with my friends. Though I was tempted, I was persuaded, but I said no. But now I have watched them half a dozen times in my leisure times after well settling down in life, and I'm chill, I'm not worse off. So therefore, everything else can wait. Don't get addicted to the screens, whether it is TV screen or the theater screen or laptop screen or mobile screen. These WhatsApp forwards, for heaven's sake, you don't be a contributor to these forwards. I'm getting 150 good morning messages. I don't know when I will be able to respond to them. See, and therefore, this is not the time. Use it productively. For organizing an international conference, if you are a volunteer, create a WhatsApp group. Without even physically meeting, virtually, you can coordinate the whole conference and successfully hold it through WhatsApp. That is the power of WhatsApp. Use it productively, but not for distraction and other unproductive things. So that is one caution. The negative factor can be for the youth if you fall prey. Even in a domestic friend, you are connected to the whole world using WhatsApp. You are sending one response to US, another message to Australia and to UK and Delhi, Mumbai, but a poor soul sitting opposite to you, your brother or sister or mother is waiting for you to look at and respond to the question she asked, what do you want for dinner? You are yet to reply. You are replying to USA and Australia or forwarding messages. In fact, I recently read a, joke, must be a real happening. The aged parents sent a mail to their son. Son, every Sunday those days we used to have lunch together. This Sunday, can you join us for lunch? Please come down from the first floor. So don't put yourself in that position because of the technology. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I now request our chief guest to release the CD, a compilation of research papers contributed by research scholars and academicians. I also request the faculty and students in charge of publication to join us on stage for a photograph. Thank you, sir, for the honors. Over to Dr. K. Maithili, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce aided, to announce the Best Paper Award.
Good evening, all. On behalf of the PG and Research Department of Commerce, it gives me immense pleasure to announce the Best Paper Award of the paper presentation session held on the first day of the International Conference on Business Renaissance, the Era of Digital Cure. Of the 23 participants who had presented the papers at the session, Ms. Husna Anwar and Dr. A.S. Gayatri have won the Best Paper Award. For the paper title, User Generated Content, Customer Brand Engagement and Purchase Intention. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request our chief guest to present the Best Paper Award to Ms. Husna Anwar, PhD scholar. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. A. Sharanya, Head, Department of Commerce aided, to to give our guest, Shri CA T.N. Manoharan, a memento as a token of our gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Dr. Revati, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Aided, to express her gratitude on behalf of the department.
Great things happen to those who don't stop believing, trying, learning, and being grateful. Happy evening to everyone present here. On behalf of the Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce, it's my pleasure to express our gratitude during the valedictory function of two-day international conference on business renaissance, the era of digital cure, organized in association with the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I believe all these were possible only with the blessings of God Almighty and our revered founder, Shri Ethiraj. At the outset, I thank our distinguished chief guest, CA T.N. Manoharan, former chairman of Canara Bank, Padma Shri awardee, for accepting our invitation and delivering the valedictory address. Thank you, sir, for the informative address. Sir, we assure you, along with the digital revolution, definitely there will be a moral revolution, sir. We are very grateful to Ms. Saraswati, Secretary General, Ms. Shankara Narayanan, and Ms. Madhumati, Deputy Secretaries, Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for collaborating with us for this conference. Yesterday, we had Dr. Neeraj Mittal, Principal Secretary to Government of Tamil Nadu, IT Department, and during the 2 days of the conference, we had 6 sessions with speakers from across the world. I place on record my sincere thanks to all the distinguished personalities for imparting their knowledge to the students and for helping them to have a better understanding from various perspectives of how digitalization is a cure for business. I express my sincere gratitude to the management, Chairperson, Tirumati Chandradevi Tanikachalam, Financial Trustee, Thresh Sridharan, and other board members for the constant support and encouragement. I take this opportunity to thank the principal, Dr. S. Kode, for her continuous guidance, and my thanks are due to Dr. D.B. Usharani, Vice Principal, Aided, and Dr. T. Usha Priya, Vice Principal, Self-Supporting, for her gracious presence and motivating and encouragement. On behalf of the Department of Commerce, I would like to thank the former chairman, Thiru V. M. Muralidharan, and also former head, Department of Commerce, Dr. Purnima Nayak, for the gracious presence. I express my sincere gratitude to the retired faculties for their wishes for the conference. I express my sincere thanks to the head of various departments and faculty members of other departments for gracing the occasion. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Geeta Shankar, former head, Department of Commerce, Dr. P. Murugan, Assistant Professor and Head, Government Arts and Science College, Chennai, and Dr. T. Sudha, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, A.M. Jain College, for scrutinizing the research papers. I also thank Dr. T. Sudha for chairing the virtual paper presentation. I thank our sponsor, Tamil Nadu State Council for Higher Education, Tanshi, RR Academy, Zuki Systems, Computer Software Education, Chennai Housing, and Mr. Igyu Merendo for their support extended for the conference. I also thank all the participants from other colleges for their wholehearted participation. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. A.S. Saranya, Head Department of Commerce, Aided, and Geeta Krishnan, Head Department of Commerce, Self-Supporting, for their continuous support to take the conference forward. I also thank all the faculty members of the department for being the pillar of support. This conference cannot happen overnight. The work started rolling months in advance. We are fortunate to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated faculties, staff, and you students. We value your contribution towards the smooth conduct of this two-day international conference. I wholeheartedly thank the treasurers of this conference, Dr. Dr. A.S. Gayatri, Associate Professor, Aided, and Ms. Supracha H, Assistant Professor, Self-Supporting for extending the support. I profusely thank faculty coordinators, Dr. K. Maithili, Assistant Professor, and Dr. N. Nandini, Assistant Professor, Aided, Ms. Sushma Catherine P. and Ms. Nirmala T.K., Assistant Professor, Self-Supporting, and student coordinators, Ms. Aishwarya, second MCom, and Ms. Arya, yes, first MCom self-supporting, Suhasini J, first MCom, and Ms. Preeti Rose M, second MCom, aided for their meticulous contribution for the journal publication. My profound thanks to Dr. Veena Murali, Assistant Professor, aided, and Ms. Shobana T, Assistant Professor, self-supporting, for extending their wonderful and technical support. No words to express the way you have contributed for the smooth conduct of this conference. Thank you so much, both of you, and along with the student team. Thank you so much, girls. My special thanks to publication team, refreshment committee, registration committee, technical team, certificate and arts committee, refreshment committee, because without refreshments, we won't have any energy. Providing food is very important to have energy. So I'm thankful to the refreshment committee, the faculty and the student coordinators for giving us sumptuous food. Thank you so much. Discipline committee, backstage committee, and the networking committee for their wonderful support. I also thank to Mr. Bhaskar of Hema Agency for print requirement and Mr. Amudan, Epitome Events for their support. Special thanks to Mr. Balaji, Department of Visual Communication for his video coverage, and Ms. Radhika for those clicks which are going to be our treasured memory. Thank you so much, Radhika. I thank Mr. Daniel and Mr. Vijay Kumar for their technical assistance during this conference. I would be failing in my duty if I don't thank my co-organizing committee members. I extend my heartfelt thanks to my teammates, Dr. Veena Murali, Assistant Professor, aided, Ms. S. Anita, Ms. Kavita Manigandan, Assistant Professor, self-supporting, for their involvement and commitment in making this conference a grand success. Saving the best for the last. The success of this conference is because of you, my dear students. If not for your cooperation, it would not have been possible for us to organize this conference of this scale. A very big thank you to you for being such a wonderful audience whole through the conference. Unquoting Jonathan Lockwood, celebrating endings, for they precede new beginnings. I thank God Almighty once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I kindly request everyone to rise and join us in the college song followed by the national anthem.
नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे।